I told the old man, I will carry on the mission. Castro is as good as muerte. I would destroy Fidel Castro and make a few bucks in the process. Then I printed a caricature of Fidel Castro on enough fabric to make $100. But first I had to sell them. So I placed an advertisement in Replica, a popular Miami Cuban magazine. Translated into English, it read, quote, "Liberate Cuba through the power of voodoo. Imagine the power of voodoo increased many times over by innumerable believers against Fidel Castro. Only these voodoo dolls are specially designed to function effectively against the communist dictator. The more dolls that are distributed, the stronger their spell will be. Pins and special instructions included." I priced the dolls at $12.95 each and opened up a special P.O. box to receive the money. At the same time, I sent a press release to the Miami Herald. I explained that the Voodoo Liberation Institute was a, quote, movement that combines the supernatural with the political on a mass scale to bring about the destruction of Fidel Castro and his communist regime. I suggested that on July 26, the anniversary of the day of the revolution, quote, we would all plunge a needle into the heart of Fidel Castro at exactly the same time, which would certainly cause his heart to burst from his hairy chest. I insisted that, quote, the supernatural power generated by so many people in unison against one person has never before been attempted in the history of the world. I only hoped Castro would stay alive long enough so I could sell some more dolls. That's when I received a letter from the Alpha 66 Brigade, a terrorist group known for committing violence against pro-Castro sympathizers. The author of the letter indicated he wanted to buy 3 dolls and pick them up personally. He went on to say, quote, please add a penis to the voodoo doll and stick it up your ass and keep it there until I show up. From time to time, give a little twist with Fidel in your butt. Then he threatened to kill me and my family if I didn't immediately cease and desist. I was baffled. Why would an anti-Castro terrorist have a problem with me trying to kill the bastard with the power of voodoo? The end of the letter answered the question. It said, quote, the Cuban people are not that stupid. My wife was terrified. We had a newborn in the house. She insisted I drop the whole Voodoo Liberation Institute gig. She warned me, the less people who know, the better. That's when the Cuban reporter from Miami Herald tracked me down and demanded to interview me. She asked, quote, do you realize how insulting your voodoo dolls are to the Cuban people? I answered, maybe, but what if it works? What if Fidel Castro dies in some bizarre voodoo accident? The Cuban community won't be insulted. They'll declare me a saint and put little statuettes of me in glass boxes on their front lawns. Or, she suggested, maybe you're just a money-hungry con artist looking to make a buck off the suffering of the Cuban people. Nobody ordered any, I lied. So it's not really a story, not worth writing about. The Miami Herald published her article a few days later. It basically portrayed me as a scumbag and insisted the Cuban people would never be fooled by my ridiculous scheme. She concluded by saying that the Cuban people were not that stupid. Fortunately, a few of them were. But I lost money in the whole deal, like all of my other crazy money-making schemes. But when Fidel finally died in 2016, I claimed the credit. I bragged to my wife, I told you those dolls would work. My wife didn't buy it. She said, what do they do, give Castro a fatal hangnail? But the undeniable fact is the dolls were distributed and Fidel Castro is dead. I believe I killed Fidel, and nobody can prove I didn't. Any questions?